Welcome to the Flash Performance Garage, where I installed a glory hole. What? That wasn't sexual. No, you let me explain. Don't you dare cut me off. I got this. Okay, so let me explain what's going on here. So I'm in the process of building and upgrading a new shop. My tiny garage is still there, and one of the things that I was challenged with when building the new shop is the air compressor. The air compressor is ridiculously loud, and it's always ringing in the background when you're trying to work on something. So I decided, let's keep the air compressor in the tiny garage and have the new shop compressorless. Now, the challenge with that is I need to get air from my other shop, which is here, to my new garage here. And to do that, I've been running an air line from the shop over the grass and into the new shop through one of the garage doors. And that means I have to move it around every time I want to mow, and I always have to worry about the limitations that I have. Plus, it's a 3/8 air hose, so I'm not running as much volume of air as I may want to in the future for being able to do sandblasting or anything else in the new shop. So here's the idea. What I've done is I've gone to Legacy Products. Legacy Products, better known for the guys at Flexzilla, and I picked up a 100-foot reel of air hose. And then I also picked up some of these 1/2-inch repair fittings. So the guys at Flexzilla and Legacy, they really got this thing figured out. You can actually go and buy air hose in bulk up to 1,000-foot length. So you can actually buy 25 feet, 30, 35, 40, whatever you need, you can buy it in bulk, and then you can use these 1/2-inch or 3/8, whatever size hose you're using, fittings to repair that. Or if you accidentally cut or rip this hose, you can buy these repair fittings to be able to properly repair the air line without using one of those stupid barbed fittings and hose clamps that are always going to rip your hands up. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use this 100-foot reel of 1/2-inch hose, and I'm going to pull it underground. I'm going to use a Schedule 40 conduit that I dug a trench about 2 feet deep, and I'm going to bury this conduit underground, running a couple of 90 degrees from one building to the next. Now, to pull this conduit, I have to run a string through it. So we're going to use a vacuum cleaner on one end. I'm going to pull a vacuum on this Schedule 40 tube and run a small string through that vacuum. The way I get it to pull this string through is by tying this plastic bag on the end of it to create a little bit of a drag through the tube so the vacuum pulls it through. This gives me a way to get this small string through to be able to pull this 1/2-inch air hose through. I've been going back and forth couple of months trying to figure out what product am I going to use to run this air pressure underground. So I'm running about 170 psi coming out of the compressor, and that takes anything PEX out of the equation. And realistically, you're not supposed to use PEX anyway. That stuff is not rated for air pressure. And I didn't want to go with something that was going to rust, like a galvanized tube buried underground, because I'm always going to be creating condensation that way with the heating and cooling of the ground and the air pressure and moisture moving through that. Even though I have a dryer on this, I know I'm always going to have moisture just because of temperature changes. I decided to go with the guys at Flexzilla because of the extreme temperatures that this hose can endure. This is rated for negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 140 degrees plus. I'm buried 2 feet down. I'm never going to get that hot, but I was worried about the cold side. But also I was worried about pulling an air line through there. Some of the other options that I looked at, they were only 50 feet long, and I am 75 feet plus from building to building. So I needed something at least 75 plus feet long to be able to pull all the way through without having a connection in the middle. So this was the most cost-effective way for me to get from building to building, plus with these connector rebuild ends, I don't have to worry about it leaking anytime in the future. I could have bought bulk hose. However, the store that I was shopping at didn't have this complete setup, so I ended up buying the 100-foot reel just because it fit my needs and it was available right away. Okay, so you're going to take power line and the hose, and you're going to put them down the hole, and your job is just to feed them together. Make sure that they're both going down the hole together, okay? Just keep feeding. Good job, we're almost there. I see it. Keep going. Okay, go ahead. Okay, push the green hose through. Good job. Okay, right there. Now, for those of you paying attention, you'll notice that I got a tremendous amount of extra hose, which I planned on and I wanted to do. So I came out almost at ground level with the garage at the base of the concrete with the hose, and I want to run this up and over. And the reason I want to run it up and over is because I don't want any sharp turns or any sharp connections in that hose. I'm not really worried about looks in here, I'm more worried about function. So I want this to go up and over and down because now I'm going to make the connection to my existing air line at my dryer. We got our Teflon tape on there. Make sure we don't have any leaks. We're going to go ahead and screw that directly into my line and tighten that down first. Then we're just going to take our line, that's a press fit nipple on there, so we're just going to press that on and then run our sleeve down over the top of it. And then as that sleeve comes down, it'll make a compression on that hose and it'll make it all sealed up with no hose clamps. We're all set there. Back to the other end. Back in the shop, I was able to keep the original end that came on the air hose, so I don't have to replace it with a quick fit connection. I'm just going to go ahead and put my high flow valve on there, and that will temporarily run me until I get my shop air system in. Same idea on this end. We're going to use some Teflon tape and tape it up. I'll tell you what, this has been a project that's been a long time coming, and it took me a while to find the right product to be able to do what I needed to do. A couple of key features I love about this Flexzilla hose from Legacy. Even when it's cold, it stays very, very flexible, and you don't have to worry about it kinking. I'm running about 75 feet underground, about another 10, 15 feet going up and over. And I didn't have to put any 90s in this because of how flexible it is. And now I have full 150 PSI shop air pressure coming to my new shop without the noise of an air compressor. So out of that 100 feet, I have about 3.5, 4 feet left. I got a couple of extra ends to be able to build an extra hose if I wanted to, or just hold on to these to do repairs or anything else that I have on my other hoses. So make sure you check them out. From Legacy Products, this is 300 PSI half-inch air hose. Comes with 3/8 nipple fittings. And all I did for now is to put one of my high-flow quick connects on there. So now I have shop air pressure in my new barn without having hoses running across the ground. Now, if you were observant, one of the things you noticed was that I also ran some power wire over to the other little garage. Now, my tiny garage already has 220 volt power in there, but I wanted to run an extra power cable over to that garage. But do you know why? Make sure you put it in the comments. Let me know, what do you think this is for? And stay tuned to other videos because this is not over yet. I'm going to show you what this is for, and I'm going to hook up my shop air to a complete shop air system. So thanks for watching. I'm Chad from Flash Performance. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and keep tuned because more videos to come.